watching the Pac-12 on ESPN as we welcome you to the NBA's newest and one of its most glamorous arenas, Chase Center in the Mission Bay district of San Francisco, where tonight college basketball takes the stage. Number 16 Arizona taking on St. John's. Both teams with a record of 10-2. The Red Storm riding a 6-game win streak, already with a win over a currently ranked team. Meanwhile, Arizona, one of the most explosive teams in the country. The Wildcats are 5th in scoring and 5th in assists. They're looking to bounce back from a loss to the new, likely number 1 team in the country, Gonzaga. This is the Al Attles Classic with Hall of Famer Bill Walton. I'm Dave Pasch, and before we get to the basketball, it's hard enough to take you seriously on a normal night. Why don't you explain the meaning of this?
Of this? I can't. Welcome to the Chris Mullin game. And he's not even here. But we've got everything else. We've got the solstice, we got the birthday of basketball, we got the Al Attles Classic, and we have Chase Center. What more could you ask for? And these Arizona Wildcats, representing the Conference of Champions, continuing to extend the conference's lead. They've got a spectacularly new look with Nico Mannion, the freshman from Phoenix. His dad's got NBA pedigree. And then you've got Zeke Nnaji from Minneapolis, where so many top players are coming. These guys have ignited a new look team. Up and down offense, dynamic, redhead leading to throw down. What more could you ask for in life? This high-scoring team is just absolutely beautiful. Nico Mannion projected. Oh my gosh, it's kind of early for a projection. 2020, we're not even there yet. I haven't even started the countdown as Father Time. Please, though, there's Zeke right there, who's just so good, so talented. I have seen these Arizona Wildcats play. Yes, they had their hats handed to them against a very, very good Gonzaga team, but the Wildcats could not make a shot down in Tucson. St. John's, though, a completely new look. Chris Mullin, not here. But Mike Anderson here. Mike, one of my all-time favorites, just recently turned 60 years old. What a legend, what a story he is. He's been a winner wherever he has been, and now he's got a great new team. Yes, Mustapha Heron is not playing. He's out with Chris Mullin somewhere, but LJ Figueroa is, and LJ is one of those explosive guys that's going to have a big start here because St. John's needs to replace tons of firepower with the missing Mustapha Heron, who's got a bad ankle and has missed the last 2 games.
For those wondering why, you've mentioned Mully's name 3 times already. He had been the coach at St. John's the last 4 years and actually took them from, remember, prior to Mullin's first year, they had 1 win. Last year they had 21 and made the NCAA tournament. Of course, Mully is a Hall of Famer, played with the Warriors in this now new facility here at Chase Center in San Francisco.
Yeah, but this game is being played because of him, and now he's not here. And the Red Storm right out of the gate. Figueroa,
who put his name in the transfer portal after Mullin's firing, but decided to stay and play for Mike Anderson, who spent the last 8 years at Arkansas. There's the starting 5 for Arizona. Normally they have a lot of talented players, but probably the most talented group of freshmen that Arizona's had since Sean Miller took over 11 years ago.
Wait a second, you're saying there's more talent than when they had DeAndre Ayton?
I'm talking about combined. If you look at all the freshmen as Mannion drops it in.
That's like saying Wilt and whoever else is playing is really good. Or
Al Attles.
Right. Or Kareem and whoever else is playing. And please, if you would please stop saying of course, because how do I know what you know? And how do you know what I know? Please, you're disrespecting our audience. And this offensive firepower explosion, the volcano has already happened.
Yeah, that's Nick Rutherford, who you don't even have on your board coming into tonight. Mike Anderson asked you why you didn't have him in your starting lineup, considering he had started every game of the year. Out of bounds, last touch by Arizona. Poor, at least Sean knows that he's got you and me for the next 4 months.
With the great new look here. After tonight's game, the Wildcats, they are off until January 4th, Saturday night, when they host the Arizona State Sun Devils. I'll be there. That will be a game to remember. Although it's going to be tough to beat Utah and Kentucky from Las Vegas earlier this week.
Although Kentucky lost today to San Diego State.
No.
Utah. Well, Kentucky lost to Ohio State. Utah lost to San Diego State.
That's not what you said.
I'm just correcting it.
Thanks. Beautiful passing, Nico Mannion.
And here is Josh Green, but he stepped on the sideline. Green is another McDonald's All-American like Nico Mannion. He is from Australia. Went to IMG Academy in Florida. Battled shoulder injuries the last 2 years.
This is an Australian celebration of life tonight. The Fatal Shore. Robert Hughes, one of the great books ever written. Have you read that? Have you been to the Fatal Shore? Were you ever on a prison ship in the harbor
Yes.
of London?
Here's a drive and a finish. LJ Figueroa.
I tell you, the
15 points per game.
offensive explosion. This guy, Mike Anderson, has got this Red Storm team believing. That's a tough pass there.
And coming up short is Chase Jeter, who has scored in double figures in the last 6 games.
The Red Storm has come to fight, and I'm impressed early on. Can they sustain?
And they love to get up and down.
Well, they're 40 minutes of here we go.
Yeah, fifth fastest in terms of seconds per possession. It's about 14 seconds per possession is Champagnie, not Champagne. It's pronounced Champagnie. Misses the shot.
Champagne, Father Time, we're here. The Grateful Dead will be in this building on the 30th and 31st.
I'm sure you'll be there. Foul on St. John's.
How do you know? Please.
I'm just assuming you're going to be there.
You can just ask me.
Are you doing a game? Or are you going to be here for the Grateful Dead?
I'm going to be here.
Okay, Mark, that's what I
With the
assumed. It was a
Grateful
good
Dead.
assumption.
I have broadcast New Year's Eve before many times. One year, the broadcast team was Ken Kesey, Father Guido Sarducci, Al Franken, and me. And what a show that was.
You doing a game, the four of you?
No, we we broadcast the concert. We were the studio team that led in, had the countdown, had the parade.
For which network, dare I ask? Forget it. Zeke Naji at the free throw line.
It was an intergalactic broadcast on the Grateful Dead network.
Zeke Naji had 20 points in his debut, the most by a freshman in his debut under Sean Miller.
Great defense, Josh Green. This Arizona team is playing with spirit and fire and drive, confidence that we did not see last year when they didn't even make the tournament. Shocking. Whoa, that's a screen.
They didn't have the talent last year to make the tournament. Missed out for the first time since 2012.
Easy
Naji
for you to say.
Well, we
Come on, they had
watched them all
Chase
season.
Jeter.
Josh Green driving.
Ira Lee.
Tries to hit Jeter underneath. Good defense and
Great
strip.
defense.
But kept alive by Green.
I'm impressed by this Red Storm team. They're going to be fantastic in the Big East.
Jeter backing down the defender. Tough shot.
Never execute the shot you just faked.
Mannion with a teardrop goes
beautiful.
down. Nico Mannion coming off that struggle against Gonzaga where he was 3 for 20 from the floor. In fact, in the 2 losses,
Why so negative?
he's a
Please.
combined 6 of 34 from the field in losses to Baylor and to Gonzaga.
Have you ever heard me say offense wins championships?
Yes.
Okay. So when you don't make the shots, you're going to lose. And right now, Figueroa. Did they name that street in Los Angeles after this guy? Beautiful passing.
Will they count the basket? Was it on the way down on the swat by Roberts? They have not signaled yet.
Well, we got a great refereeing crew here tonight. Earl's over there with Mike Anderson trying to set the record straight here. The largest Christmas tree in all of San Francisco.
I got to read these. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball brought to you by Air Force Reserve. College tuition assistance available with the Air Force Reserve. City, welcome what's next. And the Basketball Hall of Fame, where the game never ends. Celebrating Hall of Famer Al Attles tonight, along with Hall of Famer Bill Walton here in San Fran. And welcome back to San Francisco, where St. John's has an early lead of 3 over Arizona.
Can't believe you don't call it Francisco from your past. Mike Anderson, born in Birmingham, married to his sweetheart for many years, Marshita. They have 3 children. He went to Jefferson College in Birmingham there. Then he went on to play at Tulsa for Nolan Richardson. Followed him. Then he was a coach at UAB, where he's from, his hometown, Birmingham. Then he was at Missouri. Elite 8 appearance here. But his basketball background comes from the core of Nolan Richardson, which comes from Don Haskins, the Bear down in Texas, El Paso here. Arkansas head coach for many, many years. As fierce a competitor as you will ever find. He's put together a great staff over there that includes Paul Pressey, a legend in his own right. This is Paul's first year in college basketball, and they're having the time of their life. But Paul Pressey, who is from Richmond, Virginia. And Paul and Mike Anderson, they connected as opponents in the JUCO championship game, which Paul Pressey, his undefeated team, won from West Texas.
They're great friends. They go way back. Paul obviously played in the NBA for a long time.
Obviously. I don't get this word obviously.
Here's Figueroa out near midcourt. Good defense here in the half court by Arizona. The shot clock at 7. Kelleher, boy, had enough time on the shot clock.
So close.
28-footer, and here comes Dylan
Push the
Smith.
ball.
That pass tried to hit Najee in transition, turned it over. Sloppy start for Arizona.
There's Paul Pressey right there.
I couldn't believe he said he was 61 is what
looks fantastic. I played against Paul Pressey.
Why no?
Paul Pressey coming out of Tulsa was just fantastic. Don Nelson drafted him. Paul Pressey was one of the first guys with Don Nelson who defined the evolution of basketball to what it is today. Positionless, everybody creates. Beautiful drive.
Played
there
for him in Milwaukee, and his two sons played for Mike Anderson at Missouri.
They were roommates at Tulsa.
Najee picked up the foul, the first team foul in Arizona, and at the free throw line is Julian Champagnie, a freshman from Brooklyn.
One of the great things about being here in Chase Center, besides being lit up here, is that you get the opportunity to see all my old friends. And I saw Keith Askins, who was here tonight representing the Miami Heat. I saw Ed Pickney, who's here tonight. Paul Pressey, Mike Anderson. This is fantastic.
Is that what you mean when you said you were lit up, or were you referring to something else?
I just said the truth. How you decipher it, that's your opinion, okay?
Arizona
I can only speak facts.
Trailing by 5. Mannion looked like he could have had a layup. Instead, he dished it out, and it was picked off by Figueroa.
Look at LJ.
Going 1-on-3.
Throw it down, big man, one time.
Josh Roberts with the follow jam.
What a performance by the Red Storm. Are you still allowed to call them the Johnnies, or is that?
You can call them that, sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah, why not?
Good. 62 draft picks for the NBA out of St. John's. Chris Mullin, the Hall of Famer. Louis Carnesecca, another Hall of Famer.
Here's Jamal Baker.
Joe Lapchick, another Hall of Famer. Beautiful footwork.
Najee gets it a drop and a foul on Roberts, so a 3-point opportunity for Zeke Najee.
Love this drive by LJ. Excuse me. On this poor pass by Nico Mannion. Get that ball up on the glass. And with two guys running at LJ, there's nobody there to get a rebound or block out in transition. Wonderful throwdown. What does LJ stand for? Long jumper or?
I'll look it up and get back to you. Why do you ask me the strangest questions at the most inopportune times as Najee hits the free throw? And we talk about the McDonald's All-Americans of Mannion and Green, but make the case that Najee has been the best freshman so far, most consistent. He's had
in the whole country?
No, for Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
4 games with 5 or more offensive rebounds for Najee. He was a highly rated recruit, but didn't make the McDonald's All-America game. Going to be a key guy for Arizona this year.
Don't go out on a limb.
A foul called on Baker here.
St. John's has been the better team early on. Can they sustain? And while this has been the Chris Mullin game that Chris didn't even show up for, the St. John's Red Storm, they are proud to be here. They are thrilled at this opportunity because the weather in New York right now is not near as nice as it is in California here.
Lionel J. Figueroa, since you asked. At the free throw line is Rasheem Dunn, who sat out last year, transferred from Cleveland State.
I was trying to figure out what you were here for. What was the name again? Lionel
J.
Lionel Richie?
No, J.
J. Is that just the letter?
Richie starts with an R. It's the letter.
It's the letter. It's not J-A-Y.
No, there's a period after the J.
Okay. So that's not for junior.
Does that clear it up? Or we need to keep going with this conversation?
Well,
here's Green driving.
Throw it down. Oh,
tough pass for Ira Lee. Needed to be about a foot taller to catch that. And up and under move by Earlington. And St. John's by 7.
This is the tempo that Arizona wants to play now. And I love the way that Sean's over there in his Nike sweatsuit, just so confident, so proud. He brought the whole team here to Chase Center last night for the Warriors game. They have a relationship with Steve Kerr, who played at Arizona. Steve is trying to get here to the game here tonight.
What do you mean trying? At a foul inside.
Well, there's traffic
Sears.
out there, and tickets are tough to get. Maybe his pass will work to get in.
Here's D'Angelo Russell there on the left. All-star last year in Brooklyn in his first year with the Warriors. It's been a tough year, obviously, for Golden State with the injuries to Steph Curry, Klay Thompson.
There's the obviously again. Please, if it's obvious, why are you telling us? Please. Never discount the fact that these Warriors of the Golden State were just named the franchise of the decade in all of sports. 3 championships in the decade, 5 finals. You got building Chase Center, and then all the business accomplishments.
Dunn with the steal, gets it back from Rutherford. Nicely done by Nick Rutherford to get it back to the guy who started it on the defensive end, and it's a 9-point St. John's lead.
It's called a give and go. Push the ball if you're Max Hazard and the Arizona Wildcats. They brought all their donors up here for this game tonight, but right now, Big Red Nation, whoa.
Almost another turnover. St. John's has already forced 6 turnovers.
Throw him down, Ira. Throw him down.
And a reach-in foul going to be called here on Dunn, who's trying to strip it away from Josh Green. How about St. John's 10 points off of turnovers?
Quick hands in the passing lane. Poor passing decisions by the Wildcats. This is beautiful basketball here. And how lucky are we? On Wednesday night, we had the winningest program in the history of college basketball.
Kentucky.
Last week, we had UCLA at number 7, Notre Dame at number 8. St. John's, the Red Storm, they're number 9 all-time in wins. And Utah's in the top 15. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. What was your name again?
Jeter misses. Poked out to Dunn for St. John's.
Will you please light yourself up?
I might post-game. Sears backing down Jeter.
You didn't get the memo?
Earlington
bakes it in. Oh, Earlington. Wow. Marcellus Earlington.
What was the memo I supposedly didn't get as Green fires to Najee underneath?
To come lit up, man. Come on. Block shot.
I want to keep my job.
This is Mike Anderson basketball. This is Nolan Richardson. LJ.
Rutherford, nice pass. 3-point opportunity for Earlington. What a clinic by St. John's right now with points off turnovers.
Wow. Were you there at Nolan Richardson's Hall of Fame induction ceremony and speech?
I wasn't invited.
Will you please be there when Mike Anderson goes into that Hall of Fame the way the St. John Red Storm players are going tonight? This is a thing of beauty. This is how you play. This is Al Attles basketball at Chase Center.
College basketball Sunday on ABC. It is number 9 Virginia taking on South Carolina, 3 Eastern, noon Pacific time. The Cavaliers ranked 9th in the country. Back here in San Francisco, Dave Pasch, Hall of Famer Bill Walton. St. John's right now up 13 on number 16.
That city was lit up right now, and the Red Storm is lighting up the Arizona Wildcats right now with ball movement, with phenomenal defense. We're staring down our cameraman, Tito, down there. Hope he's okay. Oh, my gosh. That is just beautiful basketball out there.
You see the look on the usher's face sitting right next to you, like, what is wrong with you?
What do you mean?
You get the Jerry Garcia with the...
no, that's Jerry Claus.
Jerry Claus, and the blue hair with the antlers, and then you've got a couple of lights here that are attached. These things are attached to whatever's underneath there.
That's so when I go out at night, I can see where I'm going. How about these Red Storm, though? These guys have won 6 straight games. Their only losses are to Vermont and Arizona State. Arizona State, which went down big time to St. Mary's. St. Mary's as great a shooting team as I've seen in college basketball. They're coming up next.
Yeah, we're going to have them against Nevada on ESPNU following this game on ESPN2.
How many more games do we have tonight?
Just that one. Mannion for 3 off the heel.
Look at the long rebound.
Rutherford.
This team is playing with the confidence, the pride, the honor that befits Mike Anderson and Nolan Richardson. What a pass.
We talked about, intercepted. We talked about how Arizona's number 5 in the country in scoring, but they can't even get off shots. They've attempted 7 shots so far in this game because of all the turnovers.
It's great defense by the Red Storm.
Yep.
Not sure why you're so critical of the Red Storm's attitude and performance today. These guys are they're missing their leading scorer and their best player.
Baker hit the side of the backboard.
Just missed. Watch your face, please. How does the song go? One man gathers what another man spills.
Have a foul called here on Sears over the back.
And then,
actually, they're going to get Earlington.
And the lead-in lyric to that one was written specifically for me. Wherever he goes, the people all complain.
I can attest to that. St. John's made the tournament last year, only the third time in the last 17 years. They haven't been to consecutive NCAA tournaments since 2000, 1999 and 2000, when Mike Jarvis was the head coach.
But they went to the Final Four when Chris Mullin played there.
86, right?
85.
Three Big East teams made it that year. Villanova, Georgetown, St. John's.
Villanova won it, one of the great games in the history of basketball. Beautiful play.
Gunn has it rejected by Smith, and now Najee with the slam. Maybe that will get the Wildcats going.
The great thing about Mike Anderson, this guy never whines. He never complains. He never makes excuses. Says, let's just get it going again. Our philosophy is we're in better shape. We're going to play with more passion and more pride. The question is, do they have enough skill this early? Oh, the runner. That was Chet Walker.
Although it didn't go in.
Bradley Braves.
And then a jump ball called on the possession arrow. It will go to Arizona as Najee and Sears got tied up.
This is Mustafa Heron's second missed game. He sprained his right ankle December 10th.
Great play by Dylan Smith, getting things going in transition, then with Baker ahead to Najee.
How about Dylan Smith? I mean, that guy is on the verge of becoming a 1,000-point scorer.
He's in his third year at Arizona, transferred from UNC Asheville, from Mobile, Alabama, and he's going to bring it up the floor. They'll put Mannion off the ball here.
Great defense. Lionel J.
Yes, Figueroa. LJ
Wow.
Figueroa, he prefers to go by. That's why I've been calling him LJ. Got the steal and then was fouled by Dylan Smith. That is the first on Smith. That's 8 turnovers by Arizona so far.
Why so negative, please?
So just giving the stats, 11 points, 8 turnovers. So they have twice as many turnovers as field goals. Max Hazard checking in, so Sean Miller going to somebody that's usually instant offense. Hazard, a grad transfer from UC Irvine. He hit 93 threes last year.
Max Hazard is just one of those incredibly valuable players for any team he's ever played. He's got a huge number of family members here tonight in this raucous crowd at Chase Center.
Wow, a shooting foul here. Josh Green reached in. 15th foul in Arizona, first on Green, and so free throws for St. John's.
Let's put this all together here, because this is a perfect example of it all rolls into one. Earlier this week, we had Kentucky and Utah, which was, with Kentucky, the Glory Road year. And then you had Utah, which we failed to mention, that Watt Misaka, who just passed away well into his 90s. He was the first person of color to ever play in what became the NBA. He's of Japanese descent, and he was on the Utah NCAA championship team 44, the Utah NIT championship team in 47, where they beat Kentucky in the final game in Madison Square Garden.
It's a great story. Speed it up a little bit, though.
And now we're here at Al Addles Classic right now. And Al Addles and the story told in Black Magic by Dan Cloris, it all rolls into one.
Josh Green rattles home a three, the first triple for Arizona. Back within 11 minutes gone by here.
Have you ever met Al Addles?
I have not. Looking forward to meeting him when he joins us in the second half tonight.
Well, fantastic. Don't know Chris Mullin, but yes on Al Addles.
Bucket by Roberts.
What could be better? And what a story he is.
Al Addles, great player and coach, was the head coach of the Warriors in '75 when they won their championship.
It was phenomenal.
Green penetrating and fouled. He'll go to the line.
He also coached Rick Barry when Rick Barry scored 64 points against the Portland Trailblazers and Sidney Wicks in 1974.
Is it true that Al Addles, I've heard from several coaches say, maybe the toughest guy in the history of the NBA? The one guy that wouldn't say a whole lot, but if you ever got into a fight with him, you were going down.
Al Addles, his nickname was the Destroyer. But when you talk about the toughest guys in the history of the NBA, you have to start with Maurice Lucas, who was a foot bigger, but his numbers retired. He's in the Hall of Fame. He was in the same draft class, 1960, Al Attles, as Oscar Robertson, Jerry West, and Lenny Wilkins. He played in 2 NBA Finals. He was Wilt's teammate in the Wilt 100-point game. Al was 8 for 8 for second leading scorer on Wilt's team at 17 points in the game. He became a player coach, and in '75 was part of history when they were the first 2 African-American coaches to go against each other in a championship series. Casey Jones for the Washington Bullets at the time.
Chance for Arizona to get it to single digits now. Najee cutting instead of skip pass. Hazard a good look.
But the quickness of St. John's. They double team on one side and they sprint back to the other side. That is Mike Anderson. He is going to be fantastic. The players are going to love coming to St. John's to play for him. A great shot of Chris Dombrowski in the background there in the red tie and the very serious look there.
That's the sports information director who you told Mike Anderson that he works for. He didn't really like that when you brought that up. Good defense, Baker getting the block and starting another transition opportunity here, but St. John's does such a good job getting back. Cheater's pass caught by Najee. A strip. Najee got it back and finishes at the rim.
Arizona has so much size and strength. What an advantage that they have not been able to capitalize. Quickness. That's, oh, what a shot.
Deep 3 off the mark. Green lost it, then got it back, looking to run. Najee down court, puts it in. Najee with 11 points, and the Wildcats are back within 7.
That last shot by LJ, that was Danny Ainge basketball. I mean, just jacked it up, regardless of the context. And the Big Red Nation rises as one. This is Donor Weekend. The Baycats are here as well. Bobby Robbins is here, and the defense coming alive.
Great D by Baker. Oh, they're going to say that he got him with the body. That is the second personal on Baker, a transfer from Kentucky who received a waiver in the fall to gain immediate eligibility. Wildcats back within 7 of St. John's.
A waiver? You mean like he got released? Great strip down low here. Zeke Najee just too strong, too big, more importantly, too good underneath. The long rebounds, the fight for the ball, the push ahead. Transition defense. Too late, stay down. I'm Bill, and we're at Chase Center, and I want to turn over your name, please.
What do you got?
You're a dad, and I want to hear about what happened in your family yesterday.
Yeah, my oldest daughter graduated from Biola University.
And what's her name?
Her name is Lexi. You've met her. You've met her several times.
I know. I wanted to know if you knew it.
What?
I wanted to know if you knew your
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, she's trying to be an actress now.
Oh, fantastic.
That's the future. So if you've got any connections,
have
feel
her
free
call
to
me.
throw them out there.
Have her call me.
Well, you've been in Forget Paris. What else have you been in? So you know Billy Crystal, so you can maybe get her connection with Billy.
Well, have you seen Fire on the Mountain?
I have not seen that.
Have you seen The Other Dream Team?
You've been in Ghostbusters. Can you get her, since we found that out last year, which I had no idea, so maybe you can get her in touch with somebody connected to Ghostbusters.
Well, I got a better idea. Let's just connect her with Bob Iger.
That works too.
Okay.
That's good.
Have you seen the new Star Wars movie yet?
I did. I saw it yesterday.
Wow. No wonder you're behind. Okay.
That was a pre-graduation.
Congratulations, Dad.
Thank you.
There's nothing like the pride of a dad, and to see your children do so well. You got Zulu, you got Zeke coming
Zuzu.
up.
Zuzu. Zuzu.
Okay.
2 Z's.
Lexi. That's just fantastic.
You can't remember the name of the player, so I'm not surprised you don't remember my children's names.
I had this whole deal worked around Chris Mullin. And it's the Chris Mullin game, and he's not even here.
We need to keep a running total of how many times you've mentioned Chris Mullin. Hopefully there has not been a drinking game on Twitter that's been started based on number of Chris Mullin.
When I took the tour yesterday here at Chase Center with Rick Welch, the Hall of Famer from a couple years ago, there was Chris Mullin pictures everywhere in this incredible temple, this shrine to excellence, this shrine to the imagination that rules the world, and all the lounges underneath the stands here, the 44 suites in one ring around, 18,000 seats. 8 different kitchens. I tried them all last night.
Great play again by Baker. He has been a huge difference maker defensively off the bench. Played for John Calipari the last couple of years, was injured and redshirted 2 years ago. He does have 3 years of eligibility left at Arizona. He's really good protecting the ball. He's got an assist-to-turnover ratio of 5-to-1, and he's an excellent defender.
This is Jamal Baker you're talking about, right?
Yes, it's Jamal, even though there's an R and an L at the end of his name. It is pronounced Jamal.
Okay, so
How
do you pronounce Germal?
Foul here is Mannion with a nice pass to Najee. He'll go back to the line where he's 3 of 3 and 4 for 4 from the floor.
Have you ever been to this building before?
No, first time. First time I've been to the Chase Center.
Incredible. 11 acres, and what a deal they put together to initiate this, because they couldn't find a place to build. Where are you going to find 11 acres of land in San Francisco? So Mark Benioff, the founder of Salesforce, he calls up Joe Lacob behind the scenes, and he says, Joe, I know you're looking for a place. I got 11 acres, and that 11 acres is not big enough for the new campus I want to build for Salesforce. So they worked a deal behind the scenes, never went on the public market, and now we have a $1.6 billion privately financed shrine to excellence right here. And 50% of the people that come to this arena, they come here on public transportation. They have bike valet parking.
Not to interrupt this entertaining story, but I do want to mention for St. John's fans that Ian Steer has just checked in. It's his first game as a member of the Red Storm. Missed the first 12 games per transfer rules. He was at NC State last year, played in only 1 game as a timeout is called, and then transferred. So he's on the floor for the first time. St. John's leading Arizona by 9 late in the first half.
Oh.
Well, St. John's with a 9-point lead over Arizona. We were talking about Ian Steer prior to the break.
Okay.
Here's his hoop scoop. We talked about transferring from NC State after playing just 1 game there.
I loved what John Calipari said the other day. The transfer rules are too prohibitive against the player's best interests. They want to transfer, let them go ahead and transfer and play right away. And what was this waiver thing that Jamal Baker had?
Yes,
right?
so
who granted that waiver?
The NCAA. In order to
and how do
play
they have
right
that
away,
power?
In order to play right away, when you transfer, you have to go to the NCAA and have them allow you to.
And what was their reasoning for allowing that?
I don't remember exactly.
Was there a decision, or was there a dissent on this? Or?
A lot of times the waivers are hard to figure out why some get accepted and some are declined by the NCAA.
No way. Come on.
But
hard to figure it out. I just don't believe you.
I am with you. I think, given the age we're in, when players can go right to the NBA after 1 year, why can't they switch teams?
Okay,
and why do they get penalized if they want to? Especially when a lot of these guys are transferring. A lot of them do transfer for personal reasons, to be closer to home.
Well, and they want to play.
Or also because they want to get playing time, where they're not getting it at their current school. Or there's a coaching change. The coach leaves for a better job, or the coach gets fired. Yet the players have a different rule that they have to abide by.
When the coaches transfer, when they change schools, they don't have to sit out.
Right. 7 points, St. John's lead.
Above the law, please.
Here's Steer,
Look
too strong.
Okay, now the offense has kind of gone stale for St. John's here. They need to find some lights of their own.
Green
pushed the ball.
Almost looked like Green was surprised that there was no defender there, because St. John's has been so good defensively, spotting up on guys in transition, and Green had a rhythm dribble and was short on that three-point try. St. John's has won for its last 9. They've cooled off offensively, yet still lead by 7 with 5 to play here in the first half. Step back
shot.
3 by Figueroa is good.
Shot.
He thought he was fouled
and
too.
He's looking at him. You're going to call that at the other end? Come on, man. We came out here. We were supposed to have Chris Mullin here. He's not here, but we're here, and that's all that counts. We've come to play. We've come to win.
Put on the line, so a 2-pointer.
You ever heard Jerry Garcia sing Mission in the Rain? Now, that's an offensive foul.
And that's 2 personals on Dylan Smith. Let's look at this last shot by Figueroa and see if his foot was on the line. And it's the green line is the new. No, he's definitely behind the line. So not sure why They have it as a 2-pointer.
Why is it the green line? Because this is an NBA court.
Right. The blue line is the NBA line. The green line is the college line, which has been moved back this year to match
green
FIBA.
Line, blue line. That sounds like a subway system to me, please. Jerry, all the things I planned to do, but only did halfway. Some folks would be so happy just to have one dream come true.
Najee got a piece of that.
But everything you gather is just more that you can lose. The mission in the ring. Whoa, heat check.
Wow, Mannion way off on that one.
What's his percentage tonight coming off 3 for 20 against Gonzaga?
He is 2 for 5 and 0 for 2 from 3. Dunn misses badly. Champagny with the offensive rebound.
Have you ever been to Champagne, France?
Not yet.
That's right, you haven't been to France.
Not yet.
And have you read...
Here's Mannion in transition, goes strong and lays it in. Beautifully done by Nico Mannion, who's from Italy. He actually is a dual citizen of Italy and the United States. He's from Siena. His dad, Pace, played professional basketball, and his mom was a volleyball player professionally in Italy.
It's the Kobe Bryant story. You know, he grew up in the D'Antoni, Mike Peterson, the Dan Peterson, world of Italian basketball. Whoa, great runner.
Couldn't make it, though, with the left hand. Here comes Dunn in transition. Great no-look pass to Steer, who's fouled.
Now that's a foul.
Yes, it is.
Please.
His first and the 10th team foul on St. John's.
Timeout here at Chase Center. What a building. 1,111 television sets, exterior plazas with giant video boards, the largest Christmas tree in all of San Francisco. Our pilgrimage to eternity starts right now here at Chase Center.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Sonic. Enjoy a Biggie Cheese for a limited time only at Sonic.
Turn on your lights. Here we go.
The annual NBA on Christmas Day tradition continues with 5 excellent games, starting with the Raptors, the defending champs, taking on Boston on ESPN. Triple header on ABC, including the Clippers-Lakers, which will also be on ESPN. Then we'll finish up with the Pelicans and Nuggets. All 5 games available on the ESPN app. LeBron James, banged up, may not play tomorrow against Denver, but expected to be healthy for Christmas Day. Lakers have had a terrific season so far. Struggled the last couple games, but look what he's done on Christmas. Number 2 in wins behind Dwayne Wade. Kobe Bryant's the all-time leading scorer on Christmas Day. LeBron is 3rd. He's leading the NBA in assists right now.
LeBron James, one of the most remarkable athletes to ever walk the face of this earth. And as we stand underneath the lights of the NBA's biggest scoreboard, know full well that when they're not having an NBA game in here and they're having a concert, that scoreboard just gets pulled up, sucked up into the roof there so that the fans' view is unobstructed.
So they added a point because of that shot by Figueroa, which clearly was a 3, and Ian Steer at the line. I want to ask you about this arena because there's been a lot of conversation. Obviously, your son Luke, coach for the Warriors, part of those championship teams. You know how great the Warrior fans are when the games were at Oracle and Oakland. How do you think playing here, the atmosphere is different. Obviously, where we are is a lot different from Oracle Arena. How do you think it's going to impact the team and the viewing experience for the fan here?
This is already, they've been open for a month. This is already the most successful financial NBA project in history. They've already banked more than $2 billion. This is the business of professional basketball. Wherever the team is great, they will have phenomenal fans. Basketball in San Francisco, this will be tremendous, and the success of this franchise is already guaranteed financially. On the court, you've got to have the players. And right now, their players are hurt. And one of their key guys is in Brooklyn. But when you walk around, walk around here, KD's picture is everywhere. They love KD here.
This shot inside by Dunn. St. John's got off to a hot start, but now overall they're shooting just above 35% from the floor.
St. John's is shooting 35%?
Yep. At one point,
and they're winning by 10.
Well, that's because they forced all those turnovers early on. They were 10 of 20 at one point. They're just 1 for their last 10. Got a foul here on St. John's on Ian Steer. That is his first there in the double bonus. So 2 free throws here for Jamal Baker.
Where's Al Attles?
Well, he's here somewhere. He's going to be joining us. He's going to be honored at halftime. I think you're going to be honored too, and so is Rick Welch, 3 Hall of Famers. And then Al's going to sit here at the table with us to start
fantastic. The second half. We can ask him about the time. So, Al Attles.
Here's Al.
And that's Rick. That's Rick Welch in the red jacket. And then Al's on his right.
Do you have a red jacket like that? It'd be a lot better than the sweater.
Somewhere. Look, this sweater is as cool as it gets.
If you can get Al to put the lights on that red jacket, I'll be nice to you the rest of the year.
So I was walking around San Francisco today, and nobody said a word. I was dressed like this. It was like being on tour with the Grateful Dead.
Oh, they said something just after you walked by.
No way. This is San Francisco. Have you read Season of the Witch by David Talbot?
What does that have to do with your sweater?
If you read the book, you'll know.
That's all right. I'll pass on that offer.
Have you read Bill Graham Presents?
St. John's by 8 points here. Final 2 minutes of the first half.
Have you read The Ride of a Lifetime by Bob Iger, our boss?
Cheater with the block. 1 to shoot for St. John's. Coming up on the E-Trade halftime report.
Wow, another one goes down.
Yes, and Gonzaga won big. So Gonzaga is going to be the 6th #1 team. It's the most #1 teams we've ever had before the new year, and the record for an entire season, as a shot clock violation is called here on Earlington. The record for an entire year is 7 #1 teams, and we're already going to be at 6 in late December. So it all started November 5th. Kentucky beat Michigan State, took over #1. Stephen F. Austin with that upset at Cameron. Louisville loses to Texas Tech, and then Villanova today knocked off Kansas.
That must have been a fantastic game. That was at Villanova, correct?
Najee falling away, can't get the bounce. That's his first miss from the floor.
Incredible high field goal percentage by Zeke Najee. So many top players from the state of Minnesota. Just everywhere you go. What a play.
That's L.J. Figueroa showing earlier his range, and this time his ability to drive and score.
Change of pace, change of direction. The ultimate skill in basketball.
He's got 14, Dylan Smith.
And he ran up the court and ran right by Nico Mannion and just elbowed him right in the back, right in the front of the ref.
Inside a minute to go, 10-point game.
Isolation here. Step back, tease him. Oh, give and go when the guy gets in the air like that, please.
There's Sears.
You know what a give and go is, right?
Sears in the paint, nicely done over Jeter, and the lead is up to 12 again.
This is a clinic. But as in the first game today, when Stanford was not good at the first half, they came out and won handily over USD. Another turnover for the Conference of Champions.
Sears with the steal. The largest lead for St. John's was 14. Arizona came back to get within 7. Now a chance for St. John's to go up 15 maybe. Here at halftime, they forced 10 Arizona turnovers. Most of those happened in the first 8 minutes of the game.
Sean Miller with a very composed, quiet demeanor tonight.
5 seconds to go in the half. Done.
Let it fly. Let it fly.
Mannion with good defense. Figueroa.
LJ.
One-handed scoop. Takes it in. How about that? A finger roll from about 12 feet.
Pete Maravich. What a performance. I love this game. That is basketball. Tease him. Stay down. Chase Center Al Attles in the Chris Mullen game.
He dapped up a couple of Warrior players on his way to the locker room to give St. John's a 14-point lead, matching its largest of the night.
When you're playing like that, that's an 18-foot underhand runner.
That was awesome.
Did you ever see Pete Maravich play? That's the kind of thing he did every time in becoming NCAA's all-time leading scorer.
E-Trade halftime report coming up next.
E-Trade, yeah, that's next.
Welcome back to the beautiful Chase Center in San Francisco, where St. John's leads Arizona 40-26 at halftime. And what a first half performance by L.J. Figueroa. A step back 3 over Josh Green. And then how about this 12 to 15 foot scoop shot to beat the clock. He daps up Eric Paschal and D'Angelo Russell of the Warriors before heading to the locker room. Welcome back to the Al Attles Classic. And at halftime, Al, Bill Walton, And Rick Welts, 3 Hall of Famers honored here. And Al looking at Bill like, what is wrong with you wearing that sweater? Rick was thinking the exact same thing. And here is the Hall of Famer. Al, there are 4 games today, part of the Al Attles Classic. But I want to ask you about what it was like when you got the phone call saying that you were getting into the Hall of Fame this year.
Well, I just thought they made a mistake, but I go. I was very, very happy, and I'm really, really happy for my family. But I was happy for all the people who are involved with, going back to Mr. Lutzlick and people I was in high school with, and then of course my college coaches and all the coaches that I had in the NBA. So I was very, very happy.
Coach, talk about when you were coming out of NCAA and you got drafted, but you didn't think you were going to make it, so you're going to go back and become a junior high school teacher in your hometown of Newark.
Right. Well, when they told me that I had an opportunity to be, try out for a team in the NBA, I told them I'm going back to teach in the Newark, New Jersey area. And when I went, they didn't want me in New Jersey, and of course the Warriors said, okay, we're going to give you a chance to play. And I'll never forget that, because I really, really didn't think I was going to play because I wasn't as good as you, obviously.
And then you became a Pioneer coach after being a great player. You played with Wilt. What was that like?
Well, when I tell people how good Wilt was, they don't believe me sometimes. He was a better person than he was as a player. And I think that was terrific. He was just a great, great man.
And how about the championship team in 1975? Rick Barry, Jamal Wilkes, Phil Smith, Butch Beard, Jeff Mullins, all the legends
that you coached.
Well, I happened to be in the neighborhood, but, they were just great players. And, one thing about great players, they make a coach successful. And I was very, very happy they did that.
So, Al, you were coaching when about the time that Bill came into the NBA. What was your first... When you saw Bill Walton as an NBA player, what did you think? What was the first thing that came to your mind?
For all the rest of our players to quit because we're not as good as he are. He was just a great player, but he was one that we really, really thought was going to do the things that he did, but he went way beyond our expectations.
Coach, tell us that championship series in '75 when you were horrific underdogs and you came out and you swept the Washington Bullets. What was the difference for your Warriors?
Well, the one thing that was good about that team is they believed in themselves, but they weren't selfish, and they didn't really, look at it like they were any better than anybody else. But, we played 48 minutes a game, and we saw what happened at the end of the game, and they ended up doing very, very well, and I really appreciate it because as a coach, you can only do so much. It's the players who are on the floor that actually make the difference, and that's what happened.
Well, you went on the floor when things weren't going your way, when they were trying to rough up Rick Barry.
Well,
yes.
I didn't want to hurt Rick.
So you went and hurt them.
Well, I didn't care about myself. I just wanted to make sure that Rick was still there. He was a great player, but I was very, very fortunate because there were some outstanding players that didn't have the name of Rick Barry, but there were other great players, and I was just very, very happy for them.
Talk about how things have changed, Al, when you went first to NCAA, one of the historically black colleges.
Right.
Dan Flores' movie, Black Magic, really sort of captured that, and to where it is today.
Well, I think what happens is the people know that if they do the right thing, that they'll be, able to do the things that are necessary to be good players. But you have to be a good person before you can be a good player, and that's what they were.
And what about this current franchise here for the Golden State Warriors? Joe Lacob, Peter Guber, Bob Myers, Steve Kerr, Rick Welts.
They're outstanding. And what happens is if you do the right thing, they're going to do the right thing for you. And we're very, very fortunate that the players believe in them. But more importantly, they believe in the players. So that's what makes it all worthwhile.
And your wife, Wilhelmina?
She is a great person because she was a great school teacher. And she did so many great things for us as a team, but I give it a bad time because we have a basket downstairs, and she goes and tries to play down there. I said, I don't care how good you are down here, you can't play back.
Al, we have a picture, obviously, that it's one of the most famous shots ever taken of a basketball player, and that's Wilt Chamberlain holding up the 100 sign. You played in this game, and you had 17 points, 8 of 8 from the floor. What was it like to be on the court with someone watching them score 100 points in a single game?
Well, the thing that you want to do is try to win, and Wilt was he was a much better person than he was as a player. And you know how good he was as a player, but he was much better. And his best friend and I went to college together. That's how I first met him. Well, before he, played in the league. He was just a great person.
Your nickname was the Destroyer. Not a lot of people know what kind of a player you were, but back then you had to be physical. You had to know how to fight. Did you ever want to fight Bill, even when you were coaching?
Yeah, I generally wanted to fight Bill when I was in the bed sleeping and hoping that he wouldn't be around. But he was a much better person and player than he was as a fighter. So you know how good he was as a fighter if he was that good.
I'm the lucky one because I knew Al Attles, and Al Attles coached so many of my friends. I never got to play for Al. I never got to play for Franklin Muley. But boy, what a team, what a program that you had. Incredible. Talk to us about what it was like for you on the stage a couple years ago when you got into the Hall of Fame.
Well, I just...
Number 16, yeah.
Well, I looked at it like they made a big mistake, but I'm not going to tell them the mistake
they did not make a mistake.
No, I was very, very fortunate. But I really, really appreciated it going all the way back to my high school and my college coach and the people that I had in the NBA. And if it hadn't been for them, I would have never made what I made. But I also say thanks to one person that I never get an opportunity to talk about that much, and that's my wife.
Wilhelmina.
She's terrific, and she had to do all the things with the children when I wasn't around, but I really appreciated what she did, and I will always thank her for it.
And one of your boys is here tonight.
Yes. The only problem is he still wants to play, and I don't think he's capable of playing. No, he was a good player when he played, but he never got an opportunity to go beyond college. He went to the University of San Francisco, and he had a great proud chance over there, but never got to the next level.
Al, you're still around the Warriors a lot. I know it's been a struggle this year, but what's it been like? This organization went 40 years between championships as Najee gets Arizona within 10. What's it been like to watch the Warrior organization win 3 titles the last 5 years, and the way Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and company have, as Jeter gets the dunk, the way they changed the NBA game with how they play?
Well, what happened is I'm sitting next to a man who really helped change the NBA. And now stop, don't look at me like that. You know exactly. If I didn't say it, you say, get out of here.
He probably would. Yeah.
But what happened is these players are really outstanding people, more than players. And if they're outstanding people and a great player, you want them around you. And that's what happened with him.
Well, thanks so much, Al, for stopping by. We appreciate it.
I love Al Attles, the Hall of Famer. Coach, I love Al Attles.
Nice, Coach.
See what
Way to go, Coach.
He didn't say that when he was playing against us.
Take a look at our stats brought to you by the Basketball Hall of Fame. Arizona shooting 46% from the floor, but turnovers have killed the Wildcats. 14 points for St. John's off 11 Arizona turnovers. But the Wildcats are 4 for 4 from the field here in the second half. They're back within 8 of St. John's.
They're right there.
16:45 to go.
They have come back during the fantastic session we had with Al Attles, and you got a chance to see Al at his perfect composure. And he was always that way until it was time to fight. and then he was the first guy to say, I'll take care of this. And he was just fantastic. Sitting next to Fran Judkins, who runs the NBA, or the Basketball Hall of Fame Players Program. Thank you, Fran, for coming all the way out from beautiful Springfield. Can't believe you'd want to come to San Francisco this time of year.
But it was great to have Al with us here. He was honored with you and Rick Welts. 3 Hall of Famers at halftime. Rick, president of the Warriors. 8-point St. John's lead. They have possession. Here is Figueroa, who had that great first half. Now 18 points on the game. Mannion able to strip it away.
Things
Ahead
have
to
changed
Green.
here. Things have changed.
Well defended by Rasheem Dunn, and Green couldn't get the layup.
Oh, if he lets that one go. Goes to the ground, waits for the ball to come back, and then thinks about a 3 like that. He's playing like another Hall of Famer, George Gervin, who would make those kind of plays constantly.
That scoop shot, that 12 to 14-foot one-handed, underhanded scoop. Steal again by Mannion momentarily, but poked it right to Dunn. Can't get the teardrop and boarded by Jeter.
The offense is not happening for the Red Storm. Sustainability, always the key factor here.
Mannion trying
Jump
to split
ball,
the double
jump
team.
ball.
And, yep, it's going to stay, though, with Arizona on the possession arrow.
What a game. Chase Center, Al Addles Day, the solstice in the Chris Mullin game that never came to be.
Chris Mullin, a Hall of Fame player with the Warriors. He was on Dream Team and, of course, played at St. John's, one of the best college players
Of all time.
absolutely, and led them to the Final Four in '85.
He's in the Hall of Fame twice as an individual player, as a member of that Dream Team. His ability to score, to think, to use skill, timing, and position. His number retired here, number 17. That happened right at the transition when Joe Lacob and Peter Guber took over. Rick Barry was here that night where they put that number above their rafters here.
Was the head coach of St. John's, his alma mater,
For
the
4
last 4
years.
years. Got them to the NCAA tournament last year, was let go. Mike Anderson hired this past offseason. Anderson spending the last 8 years at Arkansas. And right now, St. John's with an 8-point lead, but Arizona has momentum and possession.
Things slipping away for Mike Anderson, who's trying to find some offensive spark that he had in the first half, but the ominous signs, because it was 3 minutes ago at 8:19 Pacific Standard Time that winter began. The solstice is happening, the symbolic death of the world. Who can bring it back to life here? It's been a few minutes before that because St. John's has been 1 for 8 shooting this half.
You always talk about me being negative and being a downer, and you talking about the death of the world. As Green, the floater is in and out.
Can somebody get a rebound for the Red Storm, please?
It was rebounded by St. John's. Damian Sears.
Yeah, on the 4th attempt.
Sears
Beautiful.
spinning and swatted away by Koloko. Christian Koloko, a freshman from Cameroon who went to high school in California, getting some minutes here early in the second half.
He went to that Sierra Canyon school, right?
Yes.
Is that like a G League team?
It's a high school.
It's a high school. Everybody who goes there ends up in the NBA.
It's still a high school. Dunn bumped by Nico Mannion. That is his first foul and the third on Arizona.
Rasheed Dunn is playing a very good game here.
Got a promo. Bowl season rolls on Monday afternoon. The Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl with UCF taking on Marshall at 2:30 Eastern on ESPN. And, of course, the ESPN app. What do you like in that game?
Who's playing again?
UCF and Marshall. Koloko with the rejection.
That's not the ultimate fighting deal, is it?
No, that's UFC. UCF is Central Florida. Take a look at the block by
I can't figure
Koloko.
it all out. I love Koloko. I mean, I get to see him around. This guy has got so much talent. 7-foot freshman. Whoa. When he gets going with Chris Rounds over there, Justin, the trainer. Great initiation of the offense. Rasheed Dunn.
Josh Green picking up the foul, his second 14 foul in Arizona.
The best part of the Al Addles Classic for me so far, who won the Cal-Boston College game? I missed that. I was stuck in traffic.
I've been here. I don't know. Played soccer through age
that was
15,
the second
14.
game here today.
Right. But you were here. You did the first game.
I did the first game, then I went home to the hotel and took a nap. There's Al Addles and Fran Judkins.
Dunn gets the first free throw. Rasheed Dunn, who played high school ball with Shamari Pons, who was part of that NCAA tournament team last year at St. John's. Dunn is from Brooklyn, went to St. Francis of Brooklyn, and then Cleveland State, set out last year, and now a member of the Red Storm.
But they have so many players who are playing well tonight. Champagny, Steer, Earlington, but nobody's playing like L.J. Figueroa. He's got a street in Southern California, the longest street in Southern California, named after him.
BC beat Cal, by the way, today by 4.
Thank you. Sports Center up next.
Here's Mannion, long two, in and out, and he is 3 for 8 from the floor. Going to have a foul called here on St. John's as Najee went for the rebound.
Okay, this is the recap of today. I called the Stanford USD game.
Do you think
USD
Stanford's
was
for real? By the way, Stanford,
Yes,
you
I
think they're
do.
for real?
Yes, I do.
An NCAA tournament team?
Yes, I do. Tremendous defense, very creative offense, a young team, versatile, lots of different offensive options there. They're not big, but they played the game of today, the game that Al Addles started with that 75 championship team. cow.
Don't forget, coming up next, we've got Nevada and St. Mary's. St. Mary's, the leading three-point shooting team in the country. That game will be on ESPNU.
Whoa,
the Gales beat Arizona State by 40 just 3 nights ago. A steal by St. John's. Rutherford, a 2-on-1. Dunn gets the basket and a foul called on Hazard.
That is Al Addles basketball right there. Great dig-it-out defense. Get out in transition. You think you want to give it right back, but no, you have to attack yourself. Beautiful play.
10th steal of the night for St. John's.
They're just quicker. And they're digging it all out down low.
The only 2 losses for Arizona coming into this game against ranked teams Baylor and Gonzaga, which is likely the #1 team this week.
Boy, that Nick Rutherford, he is really playing well.
Free throw goes down for Dunn.
I've never seen Sean Miller so reserved. As he jumps right up and starts yelling and screaming.
Well, he's got mostly a young team that's got a lot of talent.
3 freshmen that start. That normally does not happen unless you got DeAndre Ayton.
It's the first time Arizona's ever started 3 freshmen opening night. Here's Baker from deep back the mark.
Just missed. Watch your face.
Brandon Williams, unfortunately, out for the year with continuing knee issues.
Look how there's no ball dribbling here. Just attack constantly.
Bank shot that goes down by Rutherford. It is a 15-point lead right now for St. John's. That is the largest of the game. It was 14 at halftime. And a timeout called by Sean Miller.
Arizona was ran out of their own building last week. The final score not indicative of how dominant Gonzaga was. The poor shooting continues to plague the Wildcats. But St. John's, the Red Storm, they have been the better team in every aspect. And they've weathered all of the comeback attempts by the Wildcats, who now seem to be whimpering. What's the sound of the Red Storm coming in?
I don't know.
Thunder on the mountain, crashing thunder, kaboom!
How about the defense by St. John's? 10 steals on the night.
We have seen this time and time again. Throw it down one time. Everybody down, low, quickness. That's Nolan Richardson. That's Mike Anderson. That's Paul Pressey basketball.
They have 17 points off of turnovers to just 2 for Arizona. Right now, the Wildcats have more turnovers than field goals, and that's why they're down 15 here. Should be a great win for St. John's. They beat West Virginia earlier this season. The Mountaineers are now ranked, so this would be the 2nd win over a team that's currently ranked if St. John's holds on.
Well, St. John's comes in winning 6 straight playing without their leading scorer, Mustafa Heron.
Yep.
And so apparently Arizona said, well, we got this one. These guys flew all the way across the country to see Chris Mullin, and he didn't even show up, so why should we show up?
Leave Mully alone. Do you think this has something to do with Arizona not being used to the speed and tenacity of St. John's and the way they play under Mike Anderson defensively?
Heavens no, and why should we leave Chris Mullin alone? He's had every chance to be here. Come on.
Leave Chris. Leave my guy alone, please.
Well, I love Chris Mullin, but you got to show up when you do the game.
All I know is the story that Chris told about when you took him biking with you, and you didn't tell him, first of all, that you guys weren't going to stop on your bike ride from the Bay Area to San Diego, and you guys didn't eat for 18 hours, and he almost died.
That's not quite the story.
Well, that's what he told me, I believe Chris over you.
He started on one of those rides from San Francisco to San Diego, which Dr. No has done many, many times. And Chris Mullin, he got to just south of Santa Cruz at San Gorgonio State Beach for lunch the first day, and he said, I've had enough, guys.
took a plane home?
No, he got in his home back to the East Bay. It was kind of like this game here today. He said, okay, we're going to do this game. Let's go. And then he doesn't show. Come on.
Just leave him alone. How do you know he didn't show? How do you know he's not
I haven't seen him here.
He doesn't want to see you.
Well, I've got a sweater for him.
Mannion
with lights.
Got Rutherford off his feet. Can't get the 2. And Jeter with a good block out. A foul called here on Earlington. That is his 4th. And the 3rd team foul on St. John's.
I'm super impressed by these Johnnies. They got the new coach. They got the new style. He just got the job. Mike Anderson got the job April 19th. I was shocked when Chris left the Red Storm.
A lot of people, when Mike Anderson was hired, they were trying to say, well, is it a fit? Mike's only coached in the SEC or at Tulsa. He's from Birmingham, but they look good so far, and they've had 10-2 record, and they look really good defensively in this game.
They're basketball players who are not overthinking it.
Mannion three way off. He chased down his missed shot and then collided with Rutherford.
Never forget.
No foul, though, is knocked out of bounds off Mannion.
Basketball, players make plays, plays don't make players. The game has become overcoached and undertaught, overthought and underplayed. Thank you, Al Attles. Thank you, Pete Newell.
So who are some of the coaches in today's college basketball that get that, what you're talking about?
Well, we saw one a couple weeks or 10 days ago, Northern Iowa, Ben Jacobson, Mike Bray.
What about John Calipari? We just saw 3 nights ago.
John Calipari, fantastic. Mark Pope up at BYU. Mark Few at Gonzaga. I've seen some really, really good basketball this year.
Max Hazard just picked up his 3rd foul. We get a timeout. St. John's has been in command throughout.
The Wildcats need to come alive and start scratching and clawing. And let's go.
So Bill's been ripping Hall of Famer Chris Mullin all night. It's time for payback. Let's flash back to 2015.
I love flashbacks.
Take that, all of you. Take it all. Here, let's go.
Let's go. Oh my gosh.
Pick that hip up.
Oh. Oh, that's it right there.
My man. I'll trade that in for a win Monday.
Hello, me too.
Come on, there we go. Oh, perfect. Look at that form. Perfect. Yes.
He can go all day.
He can go all day.
Now, there's Mully and Mitch Richmond when they were both coaching St. John's. That was in Maui 2015. Why weren't there any shots of you?
It was the greatest shooting exhibition I've ever seen.
Did you shoot it all?
I can't shoot. My hands don't work. Please. My feet don't work.
You're a basketball Hall of Famer. Surely you can.
I haven't been able to play basketball in 34 years. If my body still worked, I'd still be playing.
Mully didn't even warm up, and he was drilling those 30
That's why
footers.
I said, you don't listen to anything. How many years has it been? What's your name again? What's your daughter's name again?
Lexi.
She just graduated from Biola
yesterday.
Congratulations,
Thank you,
Dad.
Glad you can remember one member of my family's name. You already got the other daughter's name wrong.
And your wife's name is Hallie. She's an angel of mercy. You got Zuzu.
Zuzu. 0 for 2. Najee inside gets the basket.
I got 3 of the 4 letters right, okay?
Najee with 17 points. Now he's 7 of 9. He's got 7 baskets. The rest of the team has 6.
Oh, now
combined.
that's a foul.
You think? It's on Jeter, his 4th.
I also know that your son's name is Zeke.
Very good.
And they got a star player on Arizona that's named Zeke as well. Is he named after this Zeke?
No.
No. Is he named after Jerry West?
Well, Jerry West's name is Jerry. Why would
his nickname is Zeke.
That's Isaiah Thomas.
No. That's Jerry West.
I haven't
Zeke
called him
from
that.
Cabin Creek.
Okay,
please.
I haven't called him that. They're looking to see, I assume, if this was a flagrant foul on Chase Jeter.
How do you assume that?
Well, I'm just guessing because
I think that's a flagrant foul.
They're not looking at restricted area like we had the other night.
Oh my gosh, the Kentucky folks still upset at this. Elbow, the back of the elbow to the face.
All right, we're going to get the ruling here. They're just a common foul, no flagrant.
Let me try that on you and see how common you think that is. Please, what do you think? You know, Al Attles would have no trouble.
Yeah. For someone whose hands don't work, they seem to work pretty well when you're hitting me.
My elbows work fine.
Let's get Al over here. Get Al between us, and he can be my bodyguard for the rest of the night. We have another game to go after this.
So in the 75 finals, the Warriors were winning, and they were going to win. And Rick Barry was the most valuable player of the finals. He was just absolutely brilliant. One of the 12 to 15 greatest players ever, Rick Barry. And the Washington Bullets, they started to get rough with Rick. And so during the game, in the closing moments, Al, coaching the team when they were going to sweep them, Al goes on the court and starts beating up the other team. A team that had Wes Unseld, Bobby Dandridge, and the Big E, Elvin Hayes. That guy, the destroyer, he's fierce, he's tough, he's Mike Anderson, tenacious.
Here's Mannion, and he was bumped. That's the 5th team foul on St. John's. So Al Adels, he's welcome to be my
Oh,
bodyguard,
my
but
gosh.
Kareem is the true hero. Happy birthday, Kareem, and more memorable moments like these over the next year. I actually texted you both these pictures and said, some things never change. You did not respond. What's going on with your eyes in that picture there?
One of the greatest failures of my life, the inability to get my elbow on top.
That was in your throat. I mean, your eyes rolled in the back of your head on both shots there. Arizona back within 13.
I was on my way to unconsciousness. Fortunately, oh my gosh, what a shot attempt.
Najee with a rebound.
You know who he's playing like now is World B. Free.
Corner three from Baker.
Whoa,
Way off.
just missed.
Arizona is 1 for 11 from three-point land.
That'll inspire the donor base.
They can't get anything going offensively. No consistency. More turnovers than... Now they have as many turnovers as field goals, 14.
They all came up, the donors, on the Arizona Charter Flight. Now that is just, oh, come on.
Wow, Figueroa has made some beautiful moves off the dribble.
It's like the Harlem Globetrotters.
Isn't it interesting that St. John's is shooting 25% from the floor this half, and they've extended their lead. It's now 15. It was 14 at halftime.
Offense wins, and for the second consecutive game and the third time this season, Baylor, they stunk it up offensively. This is a squad, Arizona, that's the 5th best scoring squad in the entire nation. Great defense.
Shot clock down to 5. Baker penetrate and kick to Green. Corner triple. No good. The tip by Najee and a foul. Najee continues to be the most consistent Wildcat. Again tonight, he's got 19 points and a shot at 20 as he'll go to the free throw line.
Signs of life for the Wildcats here. This ball just perfect into the rhythm. When you watch the man as opposed to watching the ball as a rebounder, that's just a kiss of death.
What do you think of this Najee kid here?
I love him.
He was highly recruited, but not like Green or Mannion were, and he might be the best of the three. At least today he is, and this season so far he's been.
As every player goes, if you make your shots, you look great. If your shot's not going down, you better come with something else. And that's what Al Adels could do. That's what Jamal Wilkes could do. Rick Barry did that. The great ones, the guys that make it to the Hall of Fame.
Let's focus on the guys that are playing in this game. As a man, you just picked up his second foul, 18 fouls, so it'll be a 1-and-1 here for Dunn.
So tell me the shooting percentages of these guys. What's the team shooting percentage for St. John's?
I just said it like a minute ago.
Well,
I'm going to say it again.
Yes.
35%,
okay.
25% this half, and they still lead by double figures.
How many teams that make it to the Hall of Fame shoot 35%?
Not many.
This is an Al Adels celebration of the classic beauty and greatness of his life. This is played in Chase Center, which is the thorium standard of excellence for arenas, and will be forever the measuring stick of what comes next.
St. John's is making its free throws 18 of 19 tonight at the foul line.
And if you would have just not even gone to your daughter's graduation, you could have come last night on the tour with us.
I felt that was a little bit more important.
Priorities, please. You could have gone to Hooptopia. You could have gone to the merchandise store. Chase Center.
Mannion straight on three, goes down.
Now that's Hall of Fame basketball right there.
His first three of the night. Still plenty of time for the Wildcats if they can get some stops.
There's an eternity of time here. And as we saw with the Utah-Kentucky game earlier this week, if St. John's backs it out and stops playing, this is going to go right down to the wire. Wild play there.
Can't believe you and I said that at the same time. First time we thought alike in 8 years. A foul is called here on the putback try by Sears.
Well, if you'd ever give me room to say anything.
Hazard just picked up his foul. Fourth personal foul on Hazard.
So this plaza in 10 days is going to be full of deadheads, and they're going to have all kinds of tie-dye illumination there. Beer gardens, heaters out there.
We have a promo to read while you're talking. Virginia, South Carolina tomorrow, 3 Eastern on ABC. Rivalry that dates back to the 1950s. Game will be played in Charlottesville, 3 Eastern, 2 Central Time. And Virginia right now 9th in the country. They've won
not go back.
22 in a row at home against non-conference teams, and they're the best defensive team again in the country under head coach Tony Bennett.
I thought that went back to the 1860s.
So
Virginia and South Carolina.
They're going to look here at the shot clock to see how much time should be on the shot clock when we had the
So while they figure this out, why don't we talk about how great the Big East is going to be this year with Butler, Xavier, Georgetown, DePaul, Seton Hall, Marquette, Villanova, Creighton. Wow, that's a great basketball conference.
Villanova with the win today over number 1 Kansas. So number 1 will change hands for the 6th time. The most times ever in a season is 7, and we're not even in January 1st. And Gonzaga is going to be the 6th number 1 team already. Michigan State, Kentucky, Duke, Louisville, Kansas, and now the Bulldogs.
But as we talk about modernizing the game of basketball, and we see the history, the progression, what Al Attles in the Hall of Fame has been able to do to get us to this level with this magnificent facility here, Chase Center. The NCAA tournament, they need to change what they're doing. They've got too many mandatory bids to these conferences that don't have good enough teams. And it's very much like these automatic bids that they have. It's exactly parallel thinking to the Electoral College. Things that have had their day, and it's time to move on from that.
Let's explain what's going on here. So
Okay,
one of the new rules in college basketball is in an offensive rebound, the shot clock resets to 20, not 30.
Right.
And so they were trying
Common sense.
They were trying to determine whether the one shot hit the rim and whether the shot clock should have then be reset to 20 or continue. But there was a foul anyway, and it looked like there was, even if it didn't reset, there were still 4 or 5 seconds on the shot clock. Sears gets the free throws, and St. John's lead is up to 13.
This is an excellent refereeing crew. Earl, Tony, and what's the other guy's name?
Rob.
Thanks.
Earl Walton. Are you guys related? Mannion with his. That's a 2.
He's
Long
my
2 by
grandson.
Mannion.
My grandson, and he's the finest ref I've ever seen.
So Arizona back with an 11. Mannion now with 15 points.
Figueroa has got to keep attacking here. Don't slow it down. Josh Green, tremendous defensive stance.
Good D again by Baker. He's been really good defending multiple positions
Whoa,
tonight. Beautiful
come
drive by
on.
Rasheem Dunn.
That is just beautiful basketball. Did you ever see Al Attles play?
I wasn't born yet. And a foul called here in St. John's. That will be the 17th foul to be a 1-and-1 for Arizona when we come back with 7:48 to go. Rasheem Dunn shaken up for St. John's.
Can't have that. He's been a huge star. They've already lost Mustafa Heron. Where are you going? Nico Mannion trying to find a hot hand, trying to get his team back in this game. They've been badly outplayed. Fortunately, his hair is still red. That won't last forever. But that jumper is sweet as can be. Rainbows here in San Francisco. And then Sean Miller comes right over and says, hey, man, this is how you guard these guys, please.
Or that could have been an offensive play that he didn't call correctly. But right now the difference in the game is you look at Mannion's night offensively. The difference in the game, the turnovers forced by St. John's in the first half, and the bench. The Red Storm have 25 bench points. Arizona has 2. A guy they missed, Stone Gettings, a grad transfer
Excellent
from Cornell.
player. He's out with a broken face and a concussion.
And Max Hazard, who is a grad transfer from UC Irvine, they thought was going to provide a big punch off the bench. He is 0 for 3 from the floor, has not scored. Now Baker done a good job defensively off the bench. He gets Arizona back within 11.
But you're shortchanging the Red Storm. Come on, this is a great defensive team that averages 10 steals a game, has a +5 turnover margin per game, and they have lived up to their billing. A team won 6 straight games here. Beautiful offense.
But Najee with a great backside block out of bounds to Arizona. A chance for the Wildcats to get it down to single figures.
And this massive, raucous crowd here at Chase Center just on the edge of their seats, ready for the incredible comeback that appears to be just teetering on the cliff. Which way is it going to go?
Kind of like my sanity.
You ever been to Point Reyes? Have you ever stood on one side of the Golden Gate and said, let's swim to the other side? Whoa.
Baker saves it from going out of bounds. Here's Jeter. Fires it off the backboard. No. Rebounded by Sears.
Push the ball. If you play for Mike Anderson, you know you're in better shape than the other team.
It's rare where St. John's takes the shot clock down inside 10 seconds. You don't see that very often.
This guy here, Dunn.
And Dunn lost it. Mannion with good defense. Here's Green. And Green fouled.
Please.
By Rutherford, his fourth.
This was just that ball out of bounds for Arizona, and they're going to put him at the free throw line. Whoa.
Actually get Figueroa for the foul, his first. We talked about how fast St. John's is offensively. They are 5th in the country in terms of fewest seconds per possession, 14. And a free throw by Josh Green cuts it to 10. Now a chance to get it down to single digits. Green has got 9 points now to go along with 2 assists.
I love speed, and I was fortunate to play as a teammate of the fastest backcourt in the history of the NBA. Johnny Davis and Lionel Hollins. Whoa,
Mannion, great hands, gets
turnover.
another steal, and then he's fouled by Dunn, and it'll be free throws on the other end. A 1-and-1 for Nico Mannion, who's done a terrific job defensively here in the second half, coming up with steals.
Now, Rasheem Dunn, who's been so good throughout this game. 2 or 3 straight plays in a row, and now what looked to be just a waltz all the way to San Francisco Airport tomorrow for the Red Storm. Now they're going to be facing just a tidal wave, a tsunami of Bearcats coming right at them.
Mannion gets the front end of the 1-and-1, so he is 7 of 7. Arizona is 8 of 8 as a team in the second half. They've missed only 4 for the game. St. John's has missed only 2 free throws all night.
I want to be part of that conversation.
No, you don't. Not if you're on the Rasheem Dunn end of it. 7-point game.
I've been on the receiving end of those conversations. They're not fun.
Zone defense here by
Whoa!
3 won't fall for Figueroa. Offensive rebound and stick back, though, by Roberts. Josh Roberts, a guy that averaged 1 point per game last year, has been a huge rebounder, shot blocker, and also gets second chance points for the St. John's team.
I've never been more proud of the Red Storm. They're shorthanded. They come all the way out here. Wow. Oh, please. Come on, Tony. Not a foul. It's a block shot.
Greg Williams picks up the foul, his first, and so more free throws for Josh Green. Arizona 18 of 22 at the line, 9 for 9 in the second half. Josh Green from Sydney, Australia, one of 3 freshmen starting, along with Mannion and Najee.
You ever been to the Blue Mountain just outside of Sydney?
Yes.
Beautiful. Did you ever?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
Yes.
As long as you say yes, we can move on.
Williams on the cut and around and out, but he was fouled. That's the 10th team foul on Arizona. So both teams are in the double bonus for the remainder of this game.
The thing about Mike Anderson, he just has an endless list of guys over there who want to play, who want to fight. This is the best start for St. John's in their Big East history, which dates back to 1979.
But a missed free throw by Williams. SportsCenter tonight on ESPN. Coverage of the Bills-Patriots game today. Also Rams 49ers. Garoppolo against Goff. Post-game reactions from the bowl games today, including the Arnold Carriers New Orleans Bowl featuring Appalachian State and UAB. So St. John's misses both free throws. Arizona
the
ball
NFL
down
played
7.
on Sunday.
They play Saturday games today. There were 3 NFL games today. Patriots knocked off the Bills. Texans,
Great.
a winner today. Jeter fouled. He'll go to the line. Good pass by Mannion. Texans beat the Buccaneers in Tampa Rams were leading San Francisco at last check, and if the Rams end up winning that game, that would seriously hurt the Niners' chances of winning the NFC West. They were tied with Seattle coming into tonight. Greg Williams picking up the foul, his second.
You have time to know all this stuff.
I'm a sports fan, and it's my job. We're told the Niners won. They were down 21-10. They came back to beat the Rams. So the Niners right now have a half-game lead over Seattle atop the NFC West.
Never discount Joe Montana.
Well, he hasn't played for the Niners for 30 years.
You don't let me use that excuse. Please.
Joe's wrist still works, though, so I guess to your point, he probably still could sling it.
I love Joe Montana.
As opposed to your body parts.
Whoa, okay.
Figueroa step back three, way off, rebounded by Najee, and here come the Wildcats with 5 minutes to go, down 6.
LJ has lost the magic here. Who's going to come alive for St. John's and try to hold off this surging Arizona team?
Najee on the high post, drives, and a blocking foul is called here by Roberts. That's his 4th. More Arizona free throws coming.
And I'm with Mike Anderson here. This has just become a parade to the free throw line for the Arizona Wildcats. And that's just not right. These young men come out here from New York City. They have come to play a great game here.
We still got another game to go here tonight.
Bowling for dollars. This is going to overtime, man. Come on.
And so Zeke Najee, the outstanding freshman from Hopkins, Minnesota, an accomplished pianist. He played the Star-Spangled Banner before the Red-Blue.
He loves Mozart, and so do I.
Josh Roberts just fouled out, so.
Short-handed still and getting worse for the Red Storm.
I think this is one way you could speed up the game. I know they like to give teams a certain amount of time to get a sub in when you have a player that fouls out, but it basically serves as an extra timeout for these teams because the coaching staffs take forever, understandably, because they're given the time by the rule book to talk to their players while St. John's makes a substitution.
Why are you always in such a hurry to get out of here? I love my job. I'm not going anywhere.
I'm not going anywhere. I got another game to do.
Great. Let's just stack them up. We keep going.
We have Nevada.
We got the solstice here. It's a long night.
Yeah, the death of America or the world, as you said earlier.
No, the symbolic death of the world because of the shortest day of the year. But from now on, every day just keeps getting longer and longer, and the wheel keeps turning, and here comes sunshine.
Interesting that the days keep getting longer and longer just about the time I start working with you. The closest Arizona's been since it was 14-9 St. John's in the first few minutes of the game. Najee gets the second one. It's a 4-point game. Najee has 22 points. To go with 10 rebounds.
Who's got the double-double? His last name starts with a double-double.
2 N's.
How do you pronounce that first N? Or the second?
Arizona foul. It is a foul fest. More free throws, this time for St. John's.
So if you're a stutterer like me, you just say, Najee.
Najee Jeter just fouled out.
No way.
That's his 5th. So that means Koloko is going to come into the game here in crucial moments.
Well, this promising young man here, just unlimited potential. Sad that Chase is not going to be able to finish this game. A pillar in the history of Arizona basketball. Beloved, respected, admired, just a role model in every aspect, on and off the court.
Figueroa missed the first free throw. St. John's has gone cold at the free throw line after missing only 1 for most of the game. They've now missed 5.
LJ has gone cold in every aspect of the game.
Gets the second one, back to a 5-point lead.
He was in complete control. But now the fate of the known world is in the balance here. It had appeared to be secure.
Arizona's last game was last Saturday, a loss at home to Gonzaga. Here is Baker with the turnaround, won't fall. It pinballs to Rutherford.
The pinball wizard. Rutherford, outstanding performance tonight. Did Rasheem Dunn ever recover? There he is.
He's right in front of you. That's why they have a number and a name above it. Here's Dunn driving.
This is the best game I've ever seen these guys play.
Najee with a good block out, keeping Erlington from getting that loose ball and tapping it to Josh Green.
I've done St. John's games before, but not for any of these players.
Inside 4 minutes to go.
Whoa.
And a timeout called by Arizona. It's going to leave the Wildcats with 1.
We need a break here. We need to regroup, catch our breath, and come back for a magnificent finish all the way to the end as the days just keep getting longer.
You're telling me. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball brought to you by Air Force Reserve. Explore your opportunities to go to afreserve.com. And City, welcome. What's next?
The trees, the Golden Gate, named by John C. Fremont in 1846. The Golden Gate to the riches of the Orient. Yes, Baker. The trees here. Now, there's 3 trees that we want to talk about tonight. This is from the Muir Woods just across the Golden Gate Bridge. But the Brazil nut tree and the stilt mangrove tree and the African teak tree are just 3 critical trees for the survival of the world.
Those are redwoods.
Those are redwoods, and they're really important too. But those 3 trees, they produce rainfall, they remove CO2 from the atmosphere, and they support hundreds of other species. That's the Brazil nut.
Bill, look over there.
What's that?
Nothing. I got you to stop talking. Arizona ball down 5, 3:45.
You don't like trees.
Here's Baker for 3 short, rebounded by Rutherford.
You don't like trees.
Nothing else worked. I figured if I distract you, you did look, and you also stopped talking. So St. John's with possession, up 5 in Arizona. It was a 15-point lead for the Red Storm at about the 10-minute mark.
I can't speak for you, but I've opted to have fun in this lifetime.
Apparently I'm waiting for the next one. Shot clock at 5.
It'll be here soon.
Rutherford penetrates and missed the layup. Another rebound for Najee, his 11th.
Looked like it's going to be a lob pass. Whoa, that's a foul there.
And the 5th foul on Earlington, the 2nd St. John's player to foul out. That was a great look by Mannion, showing some faith, too, in Koloko to catch that ball and score in transition.
We have seen so many promising young big men coming from Africa. Koloko and the new NBA Africa League, that is going to be spectacular.
Again, St. John's making the most of this opportunity. 30 seconds to select a player to replace Earlington, who fouled out. So both coaches will talk with their teams.
You should just put Paul Pressey in. just give him a jersey. Tell me somebody else. These refs won't know. They're too young.
I think they'll know if a 60-year-old guy takes the floor.
Paul, what a great player. What a class act.
So Koloko at the line. He is 4 for 8 at the free throw line this season.
Why are you so negative?
Just pointing out the
Just get
stats.
started, please.
But he has a good-looking shot.
That's in your face.
I just said he had a good-looking shot as he released it.
Okay, so that African teak tree from the Congo.
Oh, here we go again. St. John's poor shooting in the second half has caught up to him. Just 25% field goal percentage. They made only 6 baskets, St. John's, here in the second half. And missed free throw by Koloko. So a 4-point game, 3 minutes to go.
Where's the creative offense going to come from for the Red Storm?
Well, you tell me. You're the analyst.
Well, right here by Dunn.
That's not an answer. Dunn from the corner, and he was fouled shooting a 3.
Wow, this crowd just incredibly on the edge of their seats.
Mistake by Najee there.
This has been a great day
shooter
for college basketball. Who won that Kentucky-Ohio State game?
I believe Ohio State won. So Dunn at the free throw line after the foul on Najee.
How about San Diego State taking down Utah big time?
After Utah. How about Colorado beat Dayton today? So it's another win for the Pac-12. Quality Pac-12 win in December.
Dayton is an excellent team. I've seen Colorado in person this year. They did not look good when they lost at home to Northern Iowa. Northern Iowa, a beautiful team. Colorado needs to come with more consistent effort.
Dunn gets the second free throw, one more coming.
Is this 3 to make 2 or what?
No, he got fouled shooting a 3. He had 3 free throws. Here are the Pac-12 wins against ranked teams. Oregon with 3 of them. Washington beat Baylor. Utah, we talked about that one in Colorado today, knocking up Obi Toppin and the Flyers.
That Utah game, oh my goodness.
Ohio State won by 6 over Kentucky, so that's 2 losses in Las Vegas for the Wildcats.
So the lost weekend in Las Vegas now plagues
Arizona's
Kentucky.
last 12 points have come at the free throw line. A deflection and another foul.
The parade to the free throw line continues, and all St. John's can do. Somebody's going to have to restrain Mike Anderson over there.
Champagny picked up the foul.
So we've seen a lot of great play this week. Give me some of your favorite players from this week alone. How about Ryland Jones for starters?
From Utah, sure. We'll throw him in there. I mean, there have been a lot of them. We saw great players for both Utah and Kentucky in this game as well, and I'm looking forward to seeing all the three-point shooters for St. Mary's coming up next in our last game here.
How about the guys from Notre Dame? Mooney.
I like John
He
Mooney
was
a lot.
excellent. And then what was the little guy who came off the bench? Dane Goodwin?
Yeah, Dane Goodwin. Yep.
That guy was superb.
Remember, Digger Phelps said he was the X Factor.
Don't get me started.
That was before you tried to strangle him. Three-point game. St. John's with 2 minutes to go.
I should have finished the job. The cemetery man. Ruining my life again. Why can't more people be like Al Adams?
Rutherford gets past Najee. And a steal by Mannion. An easy 2 on the other end. And it's a 1-point game. How about Mannion and his defense in the second half, forcing turnovers?
Jumping in the air, and now Mike Anderson has just got to somehow breathe some life back into his Red Storm because they're backing away from the play.
That was the first field goal in about 7 minutes for Arizona. They've been making this comeback at the foul line.
Yeah, the parade to the free throw line and phantom fouls. You're driving away from the basket and trying to throw a cross-court pass. That'll never get it done. Nico Mannion, that guy is superb.
Got 19 points now.
What a comeback. Sean, animated.
I think it proves too, Bill, that for Sean Miller that you've got more. If you have a bad half, if you turn the ball over and you struggle offensively, you've got enough firepower to beat a good defense in the second half, which is what they've done. And last year they couldn't. They didn't have enough weapons.
Well, they have
to overcome
firepower,
a bad half.
but they're 20 points below their season average per game.
Right, but that's some of that.
The story of this
St.
game.
John's.
The story of this game is that St. John's stopped playing offense a long time ago. And you're going to play a road game. This is the first game this season that St. John's has played that is further than 150 miles away from their Queens campus.
But don't you think, part of this is they've only forced 3 second-half turnovers. That's how they had their offense in the first half. They forced 10 turnovers and kept turning that into baskets. They have not been able to do that in the second half, and that's why their lead is down to 1.
But they also had the best player in the game in L.J. Figueroa in the first half.
Dunn is fouled by Green. It's on the floor, but it doesn't matter. Both teams are in the double bonus. So free throws for Dunn. Third personal on Josh Green. Dunn is 7 of 10 at the free throw line tonight. 78% in the season.
Right now, St. John's is trying to do everything one-on-one by themselves. And they don't have a guy who's hot enough the way that L.J. Figueroa was in the first half to be able to complete that. So how about a dribble handoff? How about a screen away from the ball? How about a back cut? How about a down screen? How about a cross screen? Everybody's trying to play like LeBron James out there. And maybe he's still in the locker room.
Dunn misses the second one, so Arizona can tie or take the lead on this possession. They trailed by 15 midway through the second half.
I didn't know you were so good at math. Okay.
Max Hazard lines up a 3 and buries it. His first points of the night. Arizona has the lead.
What a crowd. What a scene. Chase Center. The future is now.
13-3 run over the last 5 minutes. Beautiful hang and score.
Nick Rutherford from the outset. Indianapolis, senior. Initiate the contact, get in the lane, put your body on the line.
1 point St. John's lead. Here's Mannion being guarded by Greg Williams. Gives it up to Hazard. Now it's Baker.
Beautiful.
Hands it off. And Najee stripped out of bounds. 12 to shoot for Arizona.
He's holding his hands, man. That hurts. And that'll really hurt when he's 67.
Shot clock is at 12. One timeout remaining for both teams here.
Okay, now if you're St. John's, trying to pull off this incredible upset against this ranked team, be the biggest win of the season for them, force Arizona to receive the ball coming away from the basket here. Boy, they just took Nick Rutherford out. He's been playing fantastic.
I assume for defensive purposes here.
Yeah, but what happens when they get the ball back?
Maybe he'll call another timeout. Mannion with possession. The shot clock is down to 5. Here comes the ball screen. Mannion for 3. No good. Josh Green keeps it alive and has the ball. Arizona can hold for the final shot here, and they have a timeout. They're going to call it.
Yeah, but they're behind. You can't hold for the final shot when you're behind.
Well, Sean Miller's going to call a timeout. We'll see how quickly they go here.
Don't wait for the last play. You got to go now, because if you miss. Okay, there's ball movement here, the swing. Max Hazard comes from a legendary family of champions on and off the court. On Al Attle's day here. Al Attle's world.
Grad transfer Hazard from UC Irvine. He hit 93 three-pointers last year. Led UC Irvine to the Big West Tournament Championship and an NCAA tournament win. Transferred to Arizona. He's been big off the bench. And that basket, though, tonight, his first of the game. And right now, it's a 1-point St. John's lead. And no timeouts for Arizona. 1 left for St. John's. Both teams are in the double bonus.
Riddle me this, Joker. Are the grad transfer guys, are they eligible to stay at their original school and still play another year?
No. Eligibility's up. We're not going to get it. Let's get to the game here.
Well,
20.6 on the clock. St. John's up 1 on Arizona. So what do you do here if you're Sean Miller? You go quickly, try to get a basket quick?
You have to go right now. Attack. What do? You run time off the clock when you're down?
Depends on what kind of shot they can get. Looks like they're going to do that. They're going to take it down here and then get it in Mannion's hands.
Okay, so this one better go down.
Here comes the ball screen by Najee. 6 seconds to go. Mannion penetrates, gets the shot off. No, battle for the loose ball.
Throw it out.
St. John's ball. Arizona has to foul, and they do with .2 on the clock. We'll see if they add time to the clock, because at .2, all Arizona could do would be just tip it in. So basically the game's over.
So all St. John's had to do was throw the ball up the court.
Right. And let's see here, after that first free throw, what they decide to do with the second one, depending on how much time's on the clock here. Let's see.
Nobody can get a defensive rebound. The guy was standing out of bounds, jumped back in.
So it looked like there maybe was .5 or .6 when the foul occurred. So here's a question for you now if you're St. John's, Bill.
It depends on when the ref blew the whistle, not when the foul was committed.
So here's the question, though.
How many timeouts for Arizona?
Well, they're out of timeout.
Okay,
St. John's
so miss
has
the
one.
free throw.
As I was going to say, would you miss the free throw, the second free throw, the
Well,
first
I wait
one?
for your question. You missed the free throw here.
And they didn't change the clock, .2. So, I mean, that's... You really need to miss the free throw, because...
Oh, really?
Otherwise, on an inbound pass, you could just try to throw it near the rim and try to bat it in. First free throw goes for Champagnie. Let's see if Mike Anderson says to miss it. He's going to call a timeout here to converse with his team about how to handle the final .2. But this is going to be a huge win for
But this is where
St.
Paul,
John's.
look, Mike Anderson has been in a billion of these situations. Paul Pressey just walk up, whisper in his friend's ear, in his teammate's ear, in his buddy's ear, missed the free throw.
Just got to get it on the rim.
Gotta hit the rim.
That's maybe what Mike Anderson is saying. Remember, you got to hit the rim here. Don't throw it too hard where you miss the rim, and then it's Arizona ball out of bounds, and then they can throw it the length of the floor.
Don't have a lane violation by any of the Red Storm.
Right. Again, the only way that Arizona can shoot the ball is on a tip-in. They cannot catch and shoot with .2 on the clock.
So stand up there. Who's shooting the free throw?
It's Champagnie, the guy that just shot the last one before Mike Anderson called timeout.
Okay, well, that was a long time ago. They're
20 seconds ago.
They're on the verge of drinking champagne here in San Francisco. Come on.
Well, a lot of them aren't of age. As for
Are
certain,
you?
No. We still have one game to go. Nevada St. Mary's coming up next. That's going to be over on ESPNU.
That's going to be a fantastic night of basketball. We're just getting started here in Al Addles night in the winter solstice. Okay, the free throw right now. You got to miss this. Oh my God.
He made it, and he tried to miss it. So Arizona.
What is he doing?
Well, and then Arizona didn't even position themselves. Well, it wouldn't have mattered. No. It wasn't going to count. That's why I was curious why Arizona had so many guys under the basket, because they didn't position anybody down the court for a tip-in. But you're asking for a miracle at that point, right? It was a big win for St. John's. Third win in the last 4 meetings against top 25 teams. Plus, they beat West Virginia this year, which is now ranked. So it's a quality win for the Red Storm. And L.J. Figueroa was terrific in the first half. He had 21 points for the game, but did most of his damage, giving St. John's that 14-point halftime lead. He's our player of the game, brought to you by Air Force Reserve.
What a night. The solstice, the birthday of basketball. Incredible scene here.
St. John's wins it 70-67. For Hall of Famer Bill Walton, I'm Dave Pasch. So long for now from San Francisco. Now let's send to the Sports Center special, DeAndre Hopkins.